Rob, what is the greatest asset that you can never get enough of?
Time.
T-I-M-E, time. You were so right. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh my God.
We're going to talk about time today, and it's about darn time. It is about darn time. So welcome to Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
making money
faster. And I'm Sheryl Powers.
I'm Rob Bliss.
And we're going to rapid fire take you through this because we're talking about time, so we're here to save you time. All right?
Okay.
So copious notes. Sharpen that pencil,
Okay,
and
I got
let's get going. So time is what?
Time is money.
So if a networker is falling behind, or a business owner, we can equate the two the same, right? If they're falling behind on time, you can imagine that they're falling behind on
making money.
That's right. So if you're not making enough money, you probably don't have enough time. So you missed the mid-market last week. I know, and it was the great Lauren Midgley.
Oh my God.
We talked about time management, and she is just the best of the best.
Oh, she is so good.
She is the time management guru. I really felt elevated after this discussion. So let's rock on how we can save everybody time by being very intentional, and let's start with networking events.
Okay.
How can we save some people time? I got some notes here. I want to see if some of your notes are the same as mine.
Well, you've got to be prepared. I think you've got to do your due diligence before that. We just take these networking meetings for granted and just show up. And then we're kind of stumbling around. We don't know what the heck we're doing and why we're there. And before you know it, we get off track and we have accomplished nothing. We've wasted time.
That's absolutely right. And so my first one was kind of like that, and it's research and prioritize based on who you want to meet. And that would be industries. Is it B2B? Is it B2C? Geography is really important. So if you're short on time, don't be scheduling yourself in West Fort Worth if you live in McKinney. Probably not a great way to save some time. Not that it's not a great networking event, but if you're really short on time, just be conscious of where the places are. Number two, what would yours be?
Well, I put down, make yourself accountable. Set goals. So that you have a purpose. When you're going to that meeting, you've got a purpose. My goal is to meet 3 people. My goal is to make one-on-one.
Okay,
so, yeah.
That's good. So in regards to time, I say give yourself a time limit. Because just like with a one-to-one, if you say, hey, let's just go out this afternoon and have some coffee time, that could end up being an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, especially if you're enjoying the conversation. And maybe you don't really get as much information as you do if you say, hey, we've got 35 minutes. You get right down to the nitty-gritty. So I say, if you're going to a networking event, say, I've got this amount of time. I like an hour.
Yeah.
You should be able to, in 1 hour, hit the goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walk the room and then get on to your next thing or get home or stop and pick up groceries or go to the gym, for crying out loud. But I do see a lot of people relying on long networking, thinking they're going to get greater results. But if you can be more intentional and get in there, I've got 1 hour, I'm going to meet my 3 people, I'm going to get 10 business cards, and I'm going to get the heck out of Dodge.
No, absolutely. And that will give you the time to do what I think is so important that most of us don't do, is fill out your scorecard at the end of the event.
Yes.
And so if you are doing what you're saying is, shrink that time down, then you can go back home to the office, whatever, and then write the notes, keep track of what the score is so that you can have a great ROI for that evening.
All right, so my number 3.
Okay.
And saving time on networking groups is to be prepared, which was your first one, but in a bit of a different way. And that's make sure you're stocked up on business cards.
Ooh, yes.
Make sure you've got pens to write, a notepad to write, and make sure you've got your LinkedIn profile pulled up.
Yes.
That's really important. Another thing, the last one on there is if you've got a Calendly, an online scheduling tool, that's another thing to be prepared with. So in the regards to time, hey, Rob, nice to meet you. What's your calendar look like next week? Now, all of a sudden, we can get that scheduled right then and there, and then you're already done, right? Now, all of a sudden, you can leave with 5 meetings already scheduled.
Yes.
That's a great time saver.
Huge.
All right, so networking follow-up. 3 items.
Okay. Well, I think it's very important to, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but again, it's evaluate the event. So that, are you going to go back next month or next week or whatever? So again, if you don't do that, then you could be wasting time by showing up for 2 or 3 or 4 times, realizing it's no value there. So I think it's important to evaluate the event.
Okay, so my follow-up is I say scan those business cards. I've got about 250 that are sitting on my table staring at me. I know that I've got to scan in. I swear I'm going to get it done because they just keep looking at me, but get it done. HubSpot, Camcard are great options for you. Number 2, follow up on LinkedIn connection requests by messaging and requesting a meeting time.
Yeah.
So do that quickly. So I schedule it for the next morning, and that way I am following up immediately. All right?
Okay.
Number 3. Do you have a third one?
Okay. Well, I've got off a little different path here, but I'm thinking about from the following up is, sending a thank you card or something like that, so that you can, the people will appreciate you for meeting you for the first time that night. Again, so many people do not do that. And by going, the extra mile type of thing, is that it's nice to receive.
It is, and that can be a time saver, and that it could jump past, maybe a couple of extra meetings that you might need to have to get to know that person, and maybe they've already established this. Oh my gosh, what a great person! I need to refer that Rob
There
somebody.
you go, absolutely.
Right,
yeah.
so it's a jump past to building a relationship, right? Creating those stronger bonds that we were talking about last week.
Absolutely.
I say number 3 is email a meeting request, or, and I say this with great hesitation, or text. People ask me, they say, hey, can I text you? How do you feel about that?
I really tell them, yes, you can, but my preferred choice is email.
Okay, mine too. You can't flag a text like you can an email, and my calendar isn't on my text.
Yeah.
And it's so easy, especially if you don't have their information saved, just to lose them.
Right.
But either way, that follow-up on email, that way you have it sitting there in your information.
Right.
And add it to your CRM if you can. That would be great. So I see we're out of time as the
Whoa.
studio's moving.
Oh my gosh! Yes, that's right.
That's right. So
I'm really excited about where we're moving to. It's going to be kind of a new concept, and we got some really cool things happening in the new studio.
yes, we do. Great things to tell you about coming up super soon. But this is our last one in this studio.
All right, this is it.
All right, 1.5 years in here.
Woo!
I can't wait to see what's coming up. So from Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
Making money.
Do you still have your cash? Did they take your cash?
No, I got
All
my
right.
cash. I got my cash.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. We'll take you to making money faster and keep it better, right? So I can't wait.
That's
Can't
gonna be
wait.
it's gonna be exciting.
It is. So we've got another episode coming up here in a couple of weeks. Give us time to transition.
Right.
And we will see you soon.